What is up, guys? Ross Thomas here for the Brotographer.com, and today I'm bringing you my initial thoughts on Feiyu Tech's newest 3-axis gimbal, the a2000. Opening up the box, you'll see that Feiyu did not include a hard carrying case like they did in the MG-V2, but they did include this little mini tripod here. Now, Feiyu also included 4 batteries, so that allows you to put 2 inside the actual handle where the batteries are placed, and they can also be charged in there with the included micro USB. And you can also put and have 2 charging in the included charger. Setting up the actual gimbal is actually really easy. You just screw the handle into place after you put the batteries in. Stand it up with the included little mini tripod there. Pull the gimbal out of the box and line up the pins on the gimbal and handle and simply screw it in. Also included in the a2000 package is a quick release plate for mounting the actual camera to the gimbal. Once you get the actual camera mounted to that plate, sliding it in is super easy. So to balance a gimbal, no matter what gimbal you have, it's pretty basic. There are a couple different axes, 3-axis gimbal, that you need to balance in order to make sure that your camera and lens combination is going to be perfectly balanced. Just as a rule of thumb, whenever you change a lens on a gimbal, you're going to have to rebalance it. Now, the bigger the gimbal's motors, the more it's going to be able to compensate for bad balancing, but you always want to make sure you balance it as good as possible to get the best battery life out of it as possible. So, the first axis that you're going to want to balance is the tilt axis. Is that right? Tilt. So you're going to want to make sure, I pre-balanced some of this, that it's pointing straight down and it doesn't move up or down. And in order to do that, you loosen this little toolless screw right here, slide it up or down, and as you can see, mine's perfect. Now, the second axis that I'm going to fix is the pitch axis. So if the camera's moving left, you want to slide it one way. If it's tilting over right, you want to slide it the other way. And I've also pre-done that. Now for the second to last, it's not an actual axis, so see that the camera's falling forward a little bit. So what I need to do is I need to slide the camera backwards. So I'm going to loosen one of these toolless screws and just slowly slide it backwards. Now, something awesome about the Feiyu Tech a2000 is they have these little notches. So you're not gonna slide it a ton, you can like notch it, one notch at a time. So we're still a tiny bit back. I'm gonna move it forward and we're too far forward. So as you can see, tiny movements in balancing a gimbal can make all the difference. So I'm gonna just move a tiny bit back and we're staying right there. So I'm gonna tighten up that screw. And now the very last one that a lot of people don't actually know that they're supposed to do is, in order to get it perfectly balanced, when you let go, it should stay right there. And see that we're falling? So in order to do that, we need to loosen this screw right here and push the camera forward. So I'm gonna test it again. And we are pretty close. I might go a tiny bit more forward. Let's test it one more time. We're good. All right, so that's how you balance a 3-axis gimbal, specifically the Feiyu Tech a2000. All right, so working with the different modes on most 3-axis gimbals is super easy. Most of these gimbals, no matter what brand they're from, come with a couple basic features. So on the Feiyu Tech a2000 here, you'll see we have this joystick in the back with a mode, which also doubles as the power button, and then also a remote button. On the front, right here, we have this trigger, which triggers a lock, and I'll show you that in a second. But at any time, you can basically use the joystick feature, and you can also use the lock feature on the front. So with one click of the mode, we are in the basic mode. It doesn't allow you to tilt up or down, just controls the panning. You can still use the joystick for tilting up and down, but when you move your wrist left or right, the gimbal is going to follow you. Now, all these settings and how fast it moves left to right can be adjusted via their iPhone app. It's pretty cool. This has built-in Bluetooth and you can adjust those motor settings. So with one click, once again, we're only controlling the panning. Now with 2 clicks, 1, 2, now we're able to control the panning and the tilting. So as I move back, it's gonna tilt up. As I move forward, it's gonna tilt down. Left and right still work the same. You can click 1 to go back to only panning mode. See how it doesn't go up or down? 3 clicks is gonna put it in selfie mode. So if you're a vlogger out there who has some pretty swole arms and you can manage holding camera out like this, it's a pretty good solution if you need some nice stable footage when you're doing a walk and talk. All right, so as you can see, I'm using the one-handed gimbal. I like to grip it with 2 hands, and I'm in just panning mode with the 85, which is typically extremely tough to shoot with. So as you can see, Jose is filming me with the 2-handed setup right now. And this is the kind of footage we're getting from the one-handed gimbal. And now I'm gonna cut over to Jose, and this is the type of footage that he's getting walking straight backwards at a pretty good pace. So if you're out there with a run and gun setup and you're doing walk and talks or anything like this, like how we're doing this review here today, the 2-handed setup is probably gonna be a little bit more comfortable for you. You're not gonna get as tired, might be a tad bit more stable. If you're just doing run and gun stuff, like I am, you're out on vacation, want to get some awesome cinematics, the one-handed setup like this might be a little better setup for you. Now, either way, what I find is amazing, especially compared with the DJI Ronin, is that with the one-handed or 2-handed setup, you can put it down. Like I said, Feiyu Tech gives you this little tripod and allows you to put the gimbal down anywhere, and as long as it is balanced properly, you're gonna be able to set it down. That's gonna save a lot of wear and tear in your shoulders and on your arms throughout the day if you're doing a lot of footage. So one thing that I forgot to mention to you was this front locking trigger right here. At any point when you're moving it around and it's following you, if you wanna lock straight forward on your subject, wherever it is, just make sure and click it and hold it, and now you can twist around. No matter what you do, it's gonna stay pointing straight forward exactly where you had it. Now, whenever you let go, it's gonna follow you again. So that's a really cool feature that doesn't force you to click any of the mode buttons to do that. Something that Feiyu Tech added to the a2000 that I find myself using. So previously, these one-handed 3-axis gimbals have been pretty much designed for mirrorless cameras. However, it'll hold up to 4.4 pounds. So if you're a 5D Mark IV user who's using a smaller lens or even a 16 to 35, you should be able to get it on there and balance it, and the a2000 should hold that kind of weight. So that's an absolute game changer when it comes to gimbals. No longer do you need to be purchasing a DJI Ronin or Ronin M, an MX, or one of the bigger gimbals that's out there. These 3-axis gimbals are now able to hold a lot more weight, so you have a lower priced option that's going to be able to hold the weight at the same time. So the one-handed a2000 setup is going to run you about $635. The two-handed is going to run you about the same price. If you buy both together in a kit to give you that option, it's going to run you about $835. So considering what you get, the stability that you're able to have, and the payload it's able to receive, it's a pretty good deal for only $835. So these are my initial thoughts and impressions on the a2000. I will be releasing more footage and content with it in the future. Make sure to check out the behind the scenes pictures and videos over on the Brotographer's Instagram, as we are almost on our way to 100,000 followers. Give us a subscribe here on YouTube, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.